Howdy, folks, and welcome to episode 68. And we're just chatting. Nothing really on the schedule tonight. Really hadn't thought about what we're going to talk about, so I figured we'd just talk about whatever. I don't know if any of the other guys are going to show up. I know Todd's not. He is on the way to California. He and his son are headed out that direction. They're driving from St. Louis, so that's going to be a haul. So, is what it is. McMurray is probably working. Warmutt's probably eating tacos. And Jeff, well, he didn't have hockey to watch because, unfortunately, the Caps lost. So he might jump on here in a little bit. So fingers crossed. We do have Bunkhouse here. It says, good evening, everyone. Tiger Shadow, howdy, folks. Chuck says, evening from beautiful California. And then Dave Hall, good evening, chatters. Beautiful, dry California, turning brown before our eyes. Yes, y'all need water like a man in the desert, because, well, that's what you are right now. You're living the desert life. So things have been going pretty well. As I had discussed last week, we were at 175 subscribers, and if we hit 200 by July 31st, we were going to do a drawing, and we captured 5 real quickly. So we're at 180 now. We're 20 away from hitting that 200. So if you haven't already done it, click that subscribe button. Let's push that to that 200 pretty hard. Let's make that happen. And then hit the little bell. That way, every time I do add something, we get more to pop up. So really didn't work on much this past week. Not as much as I wanted to. I'm having some problems with my big FDM, my strand printer, and the one that uses the line to print. I got 3 really, really good prints of my quarters of Savo Island using one particular brand of filament. And then I changed out the filament, got a different brand, and it just didn't. It 3 different times failed, and I just so exasperated that I haven't even printed it with it. However, I am going to be printing some more buildings for Kanji City. My brother Jay and I will be having, I think we're planning on the Saturday before Memorial Day. So 2 Saturdays from now, we're going to have a game of Kanji City, Fistful of Lead, Galactic Heroes, where we're going to do keep going with our cyberpunk. So I got to get a couple of buildings printed up so we can flesh out the town. Chuck says, Rose has got some water. Surprised all the plants haven't just died. Yeah, unfortunately, that's what happens when you live in a desert. Ask Warmutt. That's where he lives, in the desert. Anyway, and then I haven't done much on resin either. I need to start going, though, because I figured out how many ships I'm going to be giving away if we hit that 200 by July 31st. 89. 89 of these suckers. Now, granted, a lot of them are, this size. That is 3/4 of an inch, by the way. But still, I'm going to have 89 of these suckers to produce. So I need to get cracking on that. John Longshore's in the house. He says, I'm here, lucky me. Bree, the cat, decided he wanted to drink out of my glass of water and dumped it. Cat for sale, cheap. That's why I keep my drink off to the side and my computer raised up on a little shelf. So if my drink does accidentally spill, not getting on my computer. Anyway, so we're gonna be getting the printing farm going here pretty quick again. I'm gonna probably start tonight. Right after we're finished here, I'm gonna get one of those buildings started, and then get a plate full of these ships going. Also, it's like 26 Japanese destroyers, 28 American destroyers, 2 battleships for each, 4 heavy cruisers for the Japanese, I think 6 heavy cruisers for the Americans, and then I think only 1 light cruiser for the Japanese, maybe 2, and I think 5 or 6 light cruisers for the Americans. So obviously the majority of that 89 is all of the destroyers. So says just pick me as the winner. I won't want any ships. It's a win-win. Nah, we gotta let people have some fun with it. So, but I appreciate the offer, John. That's very very gentlemanly of you. What else we got coming up? Well, I know I'm not going to be doing any gaming this weekend. We're headed over to Kansas City to spend some time with my second eldest grandson. He graduated this last Sunday. We didn't get to go because there was a limited number of tickets for each family, and we didn't make the cut. And that's okay. We got to see him graduate online. The high school did a live feed on YouTube, so we did actually get to see him walk across the stage. And then, but we're going over because he's got a graduation party coming up on this coming Sunday. So we're going to be over there for that. And then the following week, of course, Saturday is going to be either Saturday or Monday, not sure which, because it is Memorial Day in the States. We're going to be doing Kanji City again. And it'll be me and my brother and a couple of our friends, hopefully, have them come out. They live in Central Illinois in Springfield. Hopefully get them out and to play with us. So it'll be a 4-on-4 type of thing. There'll be sides, but there'll be 4 of us playing. And then on Sunday, as of right now, we're still looking to. I'm still looking to get down to St. Louis with McMurray to do some more playtesting. So, but yeah, that's what we got going on. Chuck says, I was going to try and scratch build a Western style windmill, but found one that is supposedly perfect for 28 millimeter. Well, there you go, Chuck. Dave Hall says, it'll be an amazing sight when you reach 300 subscribers and you paint all of the naval vessels for the Battle of Leyte Gulf, with all 4 battles included. Well, maybe not all of Leyte Gulf, but I would definitely consider Surigao Strait, which is many. And an extrovert paints. Hey, hippie, how you doing? Ahoy, hoy, back. Glad to see you here. Hope things are going well for you out there on the East Coast. So, anywho, But yeah, the other thing that I'm working on is, like I've said before, is the con sonar, the Cold War gaming, anti-sub warfare. So that's going to be something that I'm working on also. I want to show you, actually, go ahead and show y'all my characters, the new ones that I've had been painting. Um, we got, this is the leader of the crew. He's got the big club with the studs on it. I think he looks rather dapper in his blue on blue three-piece suit. And then we got her. She's got throwing knives. I'm going to use these as throwing knives. So she is kind of a ranged fighter, but she's going to be doing mostly hand to hand also. She is mixed bag here. She's got both the pistol as well as the nice S word. And then this one here, she is definitely all hand to hand. And then finally, got this chickie here with a big ass gun. So yeah, I think it's kind of hard to tell, but those are actually there you go. Those are light blue boots. So that's the new gang. We're going to be having them out there on the field of battle, as it were, in about 2 weeks. Let's see here. John says, I'm bad. The most interesting thing in the Pacific War is the campaign in Burma. No ships, but if you can 3D print a couple of elephants and water buffalo, you're good to go. I'm sure I could find elephants and water buffalo there. Yes, that is the BFG 300 Mark II. Yeah. The Mark One only had a single barrel. The Mark II is the over under. So, how many gallons to a big ass gun? If you're talking about paint, it was 3 full pots. No, I'm kidding. Yeah, it's I'm not sure how I'm going to stat that up yet. I want it to be pretty badass, but I still want it to be within the realm of believability. I know that's crazy talk when you're looking at doing cyberpunk, but I'm hoping to make it somewhat believable. It's probably going to end up being like a double barrel shotgun. So Hexy says he can't join, but he is listening. Okay, that's fine. Hey, whatever is going on in your life that keeps you out, so be it. No big deal. We're just I'm just rambling away talking about just random ass stuff. Might not go too long tonight. I am a little tired also. Earlier this week, had my first doctor's appointment in a very, very long time. About, I hate to admit it, but it's been about 10 years since I've been to the doctor. So, yeah, everybody can scold me, but it is what it is. Or as I like to say, it's what it's. So I've got all kinds of, being the age I am and the history of my family, I've got all kinds of tests scheduled. So Not been sleeping real well. Concerned about that. Other things going on, but so yeah, we might be calling it a night a little early, but we'll see what happens. We'll keep on going. Um, Now the one thing that's really looking uh, good, at least I'm hoping so. I'm starting to hear some possible maybes here and there, but I'm excited about. Oh, you said you couldn't.
Hi. But I'm on my phone because I'm sort of remodeling.
Oh, that's fine. That's fine.
Hi
Um,
everyone, how you doing?
so Hex has joined us. Thank you, sir. Um, but the thing that I'm talking about is Kenobi coming out on the 27th. Um, I'm excited, guardedly excited. That being said, if anybody has watched the trailer so far, there is one character that they seem to really be focusing on, and he left us. All right. Um, and that is one of the Inquisitors. Um, I have a feeling that this particular Inquisitor is going to end up uh, will end up with uh, switching sides and helping out Kenobi. I'm hoping it is still a focus on Kenobi and not focusing on this one Inquisitor. Uh, that's some of the rumblings I'm hearing. Some of the rumors is that it's going to focus more on that Inquisitor than it is on Kenobi himself. We'll see. I still think it's going to be a good show. Um, I've got a feeling the reason why the production quality of Book of Boba Fett didn't seem to be as a high a standard as The Mandalorian was is because they were pouring all the money into Kenobi. So fingers crossed. Also, we've got Ahsoka and Andor coming out soon. I think within the next few months, we got them coming also. Um, John Longshore says I went into the optometry rat, not saying doctor. He did 2 cataracts and punished me every visit by firing lasers into my eyeballs. I wonder one thing. I would take. I would talk under torture. I probably would too. I need to get my 8 ball out for Hexy. Fair enough.
That's mean.
So decidedly so. I believe the 8 ball says decidedly so. So yeah, Kenobi's coming out. Um, I have a feeling we're going to see some pretty cool new characters. Hayden Christensen is coming back as Darth Vader. I am actually excited about that. I honestly think Hayden Christensen got a bad rap with the prequels. It's I lay everything bad about the prequels right on the lap of George Lucas because nobody was there to tell him no. I know he had this vision and he wanted to do certain things, and the storyline was good. I enjoyed the stories, but there were just some things that I don't think should have happened. Um, for instance, I think they started with Anakin following Anakin too young. Um, the the kid did his best. Jake Lloyd did his best as as carrying the torch. I don't lay it on the kid whatsoever. Not his fault. the hate he received as an actor from the exceedingly angry Star Wars fans was, he was really good in the Christmas movie with Arnold Schwarzenegger. I thought he did a really good Jingle All the Way. I think he did a pretty good job there as a kid actor, as kid actors go. Was he the best ever? No, but he did pretty well. I just think George Lucas really messed things up. And then along with Hayden Christensen, he's actually a really good actor. There are several movies that he's been in that he did really well in, and I think he just got a bad rap because he ended up having to deal with George Lucas as the director. There's a reason Empire Strikes Back is a better movie than Star Wars. And that's because George Lucas wasn't the director of Empire Strikes Back.
And there was snow.
What's that?
And there was snow.
There was snow. Yeah. And there was snow. Wampa. Oh. You know what the interior temperature of a tauntaun is, right? Lukewarm.
Oh, buddy.
Aha! Anyway, and there was a lot of scenes that were just way too much. One of the things that set Star Wars apart from all the previous sci-fi movies out there is that it looked lived in. It looked, old. It looked used. It looked like it was actually a real place. The problem with the prequels was was too much glitz and whatnot. It was all too clean. Even Tatooine seemed a little too clean for my liking. Or maybe I'm thinking of the guy that was the child of Han Solo. Okay, sorry, getting my evil mixed up. Fair enough.
I'm not gonna lie, I wasn't a big Hayden Christensen fan either.
Again, like I said, I don't think you can. I don't think he deserved the amount of vitriol that he received.
Well, and also with the original Star Wars, when the first few minutes of Mark Hamill in there, I thought this is going to be stupid. But once Obi-Wan come along and he linked up with Obi-Wan, it turned into a really, really excellent movie.
Right, and it's because you were supposed to the entirety of the original trilogy, Star Wars, Empire, and Jedi, was the arc of Luke going from the whiny ass little teenager, but I want to go to Tashi Station and buy power converters, up to Jabba, this is your last chance,
right,
let everybody go or die. You were supposed to follow that and feel that. Well, that was kind of what you were supposed to do with Anakin in the original, or in the prequels. The problem was you never got that connection with the connection with Anakin in the first movie because he was so young. And of course he's going to be, a whiny ass little kid because, well, that's what he is. There was no way for him to grow within that movie. Then the next movie, you change the actor entirely, You do a 10-year jump, and he's still a bit whiny and petulant. So there, in the 10 years that he has been under the tutelage of Kenobi, he really he didn't. All he did was get older, and his petulance was, aged accordingly. What does John
Right.
say here? My biggest complaint is Darth Vader himself. Really, he's evil incarnate, and then 2 films to tell us he's really a nice guy. I wouldn't say he was really a nice guy. Um, Again, the prequels, the storyline of the prequels does a good job of showing how Darth Vader, how Anakin fell to the dark side. Um, and in the in Revenge of the Sith, he's got the line of something to the effect of, from my point of view, the Jedi are evil because the Jedi are the ones keeping him from having connections and relations. And he's a lost, he's lost everybody. In his mind, he's lost everybody because the Jedi have forced him to push everybody away. They haven't given him what, or allowed him to have what he needs. So, he was very much groomed and manipulated by Darth Sidious. And if you haven't seen these movies yet, and these are spoilers to you, too late. I'm sorry. Those suckers were 20 years ago. So you had your chance. You don't get spoiler alerts. But and I see part of John's point of, then, at the end of Jedi, he switches back miraculously. Well, again, not telling the story as well as necessarily as it could have. I think what we're supposed to get out of it is that no matter how bad you get, how far down the dark side you go, if there is some glimmer of recognition that of connection to something, there is a glimmer of hope to draw you back. And I like that. Darth Vader is a rage powered machine, for lack of a better term. He is angry because, from everything he sees, is he's angry because he couldn't save his mother. He's angry because he caused the death of his wife, and ultimately he thanks the death of his child. He didn't know that there were twins. Hell, we didn't know there were twins until Jedi. That's beside the point. And then he is just continually put on, rage alert the entire, from Palpatine the entire time. He gets bent out of shape when the rebels steal the data plans right from under his nose. Literally escaping. Uh, people say, well, why didn't he sense Leia? Because he was so pissed off. Trust me, I've been livid. I have punched walls. I have been exceedingly angry in a previous life. And I can tell you right now, when you are that angry, all you're seeing is red, and there's nothing that is going to be able to drill into your brain and say, oh, hey, but wait a minute, that's your daughter. So again, I can give that a pass. John says, well, the Mandalorian is evil from my point of view. Well, okay. If you want to back that up, go ahead. If not, that's fine too. My wife drives like a bat out of hell. It pisses me off, but I wouldn't evaporate Alderaan. Again, it's layer upon layer upon layer upon layer of just being fed only what Palpatine wants him to know. Keep that in mind. He is being manipulated by Palpatine the entire time. From the point of the end of the Phantom Menace, where at the time Chancellor Palpatine says we'll be keeping an eye, we'll be keeping an eye on you, to the time Darth Vader chucks him down the well. He's being manipulated. He's puppet dance, because that's what Palpatine does. He manipulates everybody and everything around him for his own betterment, because he has such a drive for power.
Sounds like my boss.
What's that?
Sounds like my boss.
Yeah. From what you say, yeah. So and there are people out there that are like that. People that are not good people, and there are people out there that are seemingly good people that still manipulate those around them. And that's kind of how Palpatine was at the beginning. Everybody thought he was, this good, decent guy, but he was manipulating from the get go. Now the character that are the character that I cannot abide. I talk about how much I don't like Ewoks, but I can give Ewoks a pass. I understand why they're there, and they did what they needed to do at the time they were there to do it. I cannot stand the character Jar Jar Binks. He just, oh
yeah,
my
that
Lord.
took a little bit. I'm getting used to.
It's, oh man. And honestly, I'm glad that George did pull back from him quite a bit, especially the goofiness that was in Phantom Menace. Now he was utilized and manipulated to turn Palpatine into the Supreme Chancellor with unbridled power. That had to be somebody. Might as well have been him. But the character, oh my Lord, to the point where he was only in a very few of the episodes for Star Wars: The Clone Wars, which I was happy to see. And honestly, I know people say, "Oh, only the movies are canon to me," and et cetera and so forth. But give Clone Wars give the Clone Wars animated series a chance. It's on Disney Plus, all 7 seasons. There are some that are better than others, granted. It is ostensibly a kids show. It was originally on Disney, um, or no, it was originally on Cartoon Network, and then moved to Disney. Um,
I'll tell you, I got to bail on you. I need to finish
so,
up what I'm doing
okay,
before
go ahead.
it's too late.
Thanks for
See
hopping
y'all.
in.
Talk about later.
Jar Jar projects racism to me. Maybe not, but that's what struck me. Yeah, there is definitely some distinct problem. Man, my hair is kicking like Bruce Lee tonight. I got to go get a haircut, guys. Ooh, dogs. Um, yeah, there was some definite issues with some of the aliens in the prequels. Um, I'm not gonna lie, the Trade Federation guys were very much stereotypical Asian sounding characters, which is it was problematic 20 years ago. It's even more so now. Um, and the all the Gungans. Um, I mean, I think there's just one that seemed to be not a complete caricature. That was the general, whatever his nuts was. I don't remember his name off the top of my head because I huge Star Wars fan. I don't know all the characters all the time, especially prequel characters. Hizzy Cat in the house. Hola, hola to you. Welcome. Like I said, this is just a chat tonight for any new viewers that we've got. Um, I'm just rambling about stuff, talking about what I love, and that's Star Wars. And so, yeah, there are some problems. There were some problems with the prequels, and it's because no one was there to tell George no. To be perfectly honest, um, the sequels are a whole nother ball of wax. Um, they've got their own issues. Did I enjoy them? I had fun watching them. Absolutely. Do I hold them as in high regard as the original series? No. Um, do they offset the prequel trilogy? No. They're still, we've got up here up here is the original trilogy. Down here are the others. The prequels and the sequels are down here. Um, will I watch them? Yeah, I will because they're Star Wars, and I love Star Wars. Um, what I find interesting is that Kathleen Kennedy has recently announced that they will not be recasting old characters. So characters that we have grown to love, they are not going to recast like they did with Han and Lando for the movie Solo. LBW in the house. How you doing? Welcome, welcome. Hope you're doing well up there in North Dakota. So, um, I genuinely enjoyed Solo. I think Disney did not do it any favors. Um, First off, they put it out in May, just 5 months after um, The Last Jedi. Um, and there was a lot of there was a lot of angst and gnashing of teeth with that movie. It was very very divisive of the Star Wars even more so than The Force Awakens. Um, I think The Force Awakens, except for the really, really quote unquote toxic fan, was okay. They did a people kind of gave it a pass because it was, well, it's J.J. Abrams, of course he's going to do whatever. Um, but The Last Jedi was so divisive to the point where those that felt like they were betrayed by Disney, you know, called for the outright uh, uh, boycotting of Solo. If they had released it in December, a full year after, I don't think you would have had the. I don't think you would have had the animosity toward it that you did, because it was a good movie. It was a fun heist movie. It's exactly what it was meant to be. You know, a one-off, maybe the start of a solo series. Who knows? But it it did exactly what it was supposed to do. I enjoyed it. I think uh, the character who played Solo did a pretty good job. I thought he captured the essence of a young Solo pretty good. Um, the guy who did uh, Glover, who did uh, Lando Calrissian, did an amazing job. I mean, he to me he was Lando Calrissian 100%. Um, he did a great job. Would love to see more of him as Lando. In fact, um, so yeah, that's you know, I wish they had released it in December. I don't think it would have had as much of a pushback as it did. Also, it was released like the same weekend as Deadpool 2. And right after, you know, like a week or two after Infinity War, you know, Avengers Infinity War. Of course, it's not going to do well. Um, so, you know, it's using that as your litmus test and saying, well, it was a mistake to recast these characters, so we're not going to do it again based off of the how people responded to Solo at the time is being very, very blind to the situation. Um, you know, of the two standalone movies that they've done so far, um, Rogue One and Solo, I still like Rogue One more because it was it had a very, very deep Star Wars feel to me. Yes, and I know people have their problems with it, and that, you know, that's on them. You know, I enjoyed it. Um, do, do I look past plot holes that they throw up? Yes, because it was a great movie. Again, it did exactly what it was meant to be. The director came out and said, "We are putting the war in Star Wars," and that's exactly what they did. It was a great. It was very much, in my opinion, very similar to the Dirty Dozen uh, to an extent. It was, to me, it was a fun movie, and it fits very well into sliding right in front of Star Wars. Let's see here. John says, I'm getting to like Picard, really like Discovery, and my wife just gushes over Strange New Worlds, the new Pike epic. Spock is played by Gregory Peck's grandson and is fantastic. Actually, I'm gonna watch Strange New World, uh, the premiere episode. They've got it up. Paramount has it up on YouTube, free to watch. I'm gonna watch it and see if I like it. It might be what gets me to subscribe to Paramount Plus. I watched the first half of Discovery, Star Trek Discovery. I personally didn't like it. It just it didn't feel like Star Trek to me. I know we're shifting gears from Star Wars to Star Trek. Well, it happens. I love both. I love Star Wars more than Star Trek, but I don't fall into that precept that if you like Star Wars, you have to hate Star Trek, or if you like Star Trek, you have to hate Star Wars. I love both. Hippie says Donald Glover is a genius for sure. Yes, he did a great job in that movie. Franchise lost me after the first Disney movie. You know what? And there are a lot of people like that, and that's okay. I'm not going to tell you you're wrong. I'm not going to be that. I'm not going to be the guy that says, "Oh, well, then you're just missing out." You are missing out. There's a lot of great stuff that Disney has produced since the takeover. That being said, I understand, and I'm not going to say you're wrong. I'm not going to berate you. Uh, you know, you put forth your fandom where you want to put your fandom, and it's not going to be wrong as long as you in turn don't turn around and be a gatekeeper, so to speak. And I know you're not. I'm not saying that about you, Hissy. I'm talking about in general. Um, there are people out there that have your mentality, but then go about telling everybody you're wrong. You can't be, you can't be a Star Wars fan if you like the stuff from Disney. That garbage needs to go out the door. It says, I don't think they needed any movies after the first three. Should have put it to bed then. You know what? You're not wrong. In many cases, I do think that there are tons more stories out there that could be followed. They don't all have to have something to do with the Death Star and the Galactic Civil War and this, that, and the other thing. Did we need the prequels 20 years ago? No. Did we need the sequels from 5 years ago, 6 years ago now? No. Did we need Rogue One? We didn't need Rogue One, but I enjoyed Rogue One. Did we need Solo to a lesser extent than we needed Rogue One? That's part of why I liked The Mandalorian so much. At first, it was completely new characters all the way around. So I enjoyed that. Did I lose my shit in the last episode of season 2 at the very end because of what I saw? Absolutely. Is it fan service? Well, it's all fan service. Everything about Star Wars or everything about Star Trek after the original movie for Star Wars or the original series with Star Trek is all fan service. So that's one of the things I don't like. Oh, it's just fan service. Oh, it's just a money grab. Of course it's a money grab. They don't make these things for fun. Well, they do, but they're wanting to make money. That's why they make them. And of course it's fan service because they're making stuff for you to want to go see it. So they're going to bring in the stuff that you want to see. neither here nor there. Walkabout Games. Chris Long A says, "How's it going?" A, it's going pretty good. So Strange New Worlds seemed more Star Trek. Well, like I said, I'm gonna see. I'm gonna watch, and we'll see what I like. See if I like it. Discovery has too many hugs. Honestly, that part drives me insane. Star Wars, Star Trek, they are fine. I enjoy Stargate much more than the other two. I love me some Stargate SG-1. Not so much of the others. I don't know why I couldn't get into Stargate Universe or Stargate, whatever the hell it was. I don't know, but I love Stargate SG-1. So yeah. I know you're not like that. John says, I think Disney has sucked up every competing studio. Is there any other that could compare with their juggernautness? Honestly, no. I mean, when they bought, they bought Fox. That was it. That was done. The only other big name out there is Paramount / CBS, and I guess of course NBC is doing their thing with Comcast. But yeah, everyone I hear talk about The Expanse says it's be all end all. Frankly, I have never watched it. I watched the first episode. It is definitely a show you have to watch. You cannot have it going in the background at all. You got to be on top of it. You got to see what's going on to be on top of it. It's my understanding it is really good. It is definitely hard sci-fi. It's not sci-fantasy or whatever you want to call it. Honestly, Star Wars is science fantasy. I mean, you got space wizards and laser swords. It's it's fantasy. And Hissy says, I do not begrudge anyone who loves all the movies and Star Wars content. Knock yourself out. Yeah, absolutely. And another one of the things that really, really, I don't want to say irritates me, but makes me scratch my head is those people that, oh well, since Disney or I don't accept Disney as the true owner of Star Wars now because they got rid of the all of the canon. Well, first off, it wasn't all canon. There's only a fair few of the extended universe books that were considered canon by Lucasfilms. Secondly, the books are still there for you to read and enjoy. They weren't all sucked up into a wormhole and disposed of. So they're still there for you to enjoy. Third, Pablo Hidalgo and Cowboy Head guy. God, why am I drawing a blank on his name? Is, in my opinion, doing it right. They are hand-picking bits and pieces out of what is now considered legends and bringing that into canon. Perfect example is Thrawn. They went out and said, okay, we want to bring Thrawn back into the fold. We want to make him true canon again. They went to Timothy Zahn and said, hey, we want to have this character back. We just need to have some things changed to fit into the new world order, as it were. And honestly, the new Thrawn trilogies, far better stories than the sequel trilogies that he wrote back in the 80s and 90s, in my opinion. The Heir to the Empire and all that. Thrawn is a much better character now than back then. So, John says, but I love knowing that good guys are always going to win in the last second. One reason I hated Game of Thrones. I couldn't get into watching Game of Thrones at all. It couldn't do it. I'm picking up a lot of Star Trek minis right now for 2 different games. Are you miniatures like miniatures like people miniatures or starship miniatures? Let me know. Since I was the same with Game of Thrones, I was outright giddy to see the fan base turn against Game of Thrones with the disappointing last couple of seasons. You know what? From my understanding, um, they again, spoiler alert, it's been out for several years now. We're going to talk about it. My understanding is at the very end, Daenerys did exactly what she was going to do, being the character that she was. You know, everybody fell in love with the character because of certain things that were happening, and they were more in love with the actress doing such a good job with the character than the character itself. And then when she went and did what her character would do, they get all bent out of shape. Oh, that's not. You know, it's the whole frog and scorpion story. You know, the frog was afraid to cross the pond or the river because there was going to be something that could attack it. The scorpion couldn't cross the river, so the scorpion said, "Hey, why don't you let me ride your back? I promise not to sting you." Well, they get to the far side. The scorpion hops off the frog, stings him, and the frog says, "Why?" "Because I'm a scorpion and that's what I do." I think that's what happened with Daenerys. So, Hizzy says my favorite sci-fi series is Orphan Black. I don't know a whole lot about that one. He says I enjoyed the last 3 movies, but I hated they killed the twin. Damn my fat fingers! I was pissed they got rid of the twins for Solo and Leia and came up with one nerd guy to play Ben. That's the biggest part of the whole thing that just sucks the life on me. Fair enough. I understand that, and I understand that a lot of people, had hoped that they would have had the 2 twins, but oh well. Top notch writing for Orphan Black. Yeah, I've seen I've seen it around. I just haven't watched it. If I invited George R. R. Martin to a dinner party, I'd just tell him to shut up. Honestly, 10 1,000-page books to tell his story, and they are not finished yet, and he probably will never finish. Yeah, I know that there's a lot of issue with that. Watch the first episode as a roller coaster ride from the first minute. Okay, I'll need to check it out. I'll see if I can scope it. Some other sci-fi that I think is really good. Of course, I said I really like SG-1. Unfortunately, due to reasons I won't really go into, I did not watch Stargate SG-1 when it first came out. But I wish I had. I wish I had seen it from the beginning, because I really enjoy it. I really like the characters. Now after the doctor leaves and the other guy comes in, I'm not so much. But for those first 4 or 5 seasons, I really enjoyed it. I've had several times where I actually worked up a scenario for Force on Force or Tomorrow's War for it. So yeah. So it sounds like very much in the same vein of uh, the one we were talking about earlier, where the Expanse, where you've got to pay attention to it. Yeah, it's so it's going to be one of those you turn on and you watch and you don't have anything else going on around. You don't you're not thumbing through your phone or anything like that. So um, I also liked, I think it was Defiance. Um, I think that's the one. Yeah, Defiance from back in 2013, where St. Louis gets it's set in St. Louis, um, and it the Earth gets remolded, and there's still some, there's still the arch there, but it's different. There's alien races. I really liked that one also. Defiance is really really good. Uh, John says he was honestly meh about Dune, but the technology they inferred was just amazing. That was what was great about it. So with Dune, yeah, we'll go down this rabbit hole. We're just an hour in, um, and I want to appreciate y'all just letting me ramble about sci-fi tonight. I've been needing to get this. I've been needing to get this itch going for a while. Um, the book is good. Um, Honestly, I see why it is considered one of the best science fiction novels of all time. It is excellent. Um, Lots of intrigue, lots of where Phantom Menace has Phantom Menace and Attack of the Clones has uh, politics, which detracts from the story, in my opinion. The politics in Dune are just amazing, um, and the fact that it's it's feudal Europe in space. To be perfectly honest, it's feudal Europe in space. Uh, it's brilliantly written. I listen to it about once a year and thoroughly enjoy it. That being said, the movie adaptations thus far have been good, and I have enjoyed them quite a bit. I love the 1984 Dino De Laurentiis uh, um, version of Dune. I it's Is it a perfect rendition? No, not in the slightest. But that's okay. Uh, um, but it's a fun. It's a fun watch. Then late 1990s, they came out. The Sci-Fi Channel came out with the miniseries, 3 night miniseries of Dune. Enjoyed that one also. I really, really enjoyed that one also. Again, was it a perfect rendition? No, but that's okay. I had fun with it. The current version, I shouldn't say current version, the most recent rendition, um, loved it. I absolutely loved the movie. I know a lot of people are been out of shape because it stopped halfway through the book, but you know what? It says right there on the title screen, Dune Part 1. It's right there. Um, and they're working on Part 2 right now. And I love it. It's great. Um, as he says, if you do watch Orphan Black, do not read about it ahead of time. Trust me, will not. You only get one chance to be blown away. Agreed. Agreed. I'm old. I'll forget the plot, and it will be will be new to me in an hour later. Fair enough. Um, Now, I am one that will say you should not take a book and take a movie that's based off of that book and compare them. You will always be disappointed, one way or the other. Either the book is better than the movie, or the movie was better than the book somehow. Don't do that. Look at the two pieces of art, one being written, one being filmed, and take them on their own merit. Perfect example for me is The Hunt for Red October. I love the book. The book for The Hunt for Red October is a fun read. It really gets you into it. Um, does a deep dive, no pun intended, into the hunt and the chase of in with submarines. The movie is a fun movie to watch. It's got great action. It's got great visuals. So it too is amazing. So you don't, but they're different, and that's okay. I say this because Apple TV put out a series based on the Isaac Asimov book Foundation. I'm going to say this. I enjoyed the show, but it's not Foundation. They could have named it anything else. They could have given the characters any other names, and I would be 100% on board with the show. I enjoyed it. The story was intriguing. The characters were fairly well developed. It was a good sci-fi show, good hard sci-fi show. It was not Foundation in any way, shape, or form. If you want political intrigue in your sci-fi, go read Foundation or listen to Foundation. It's hard to follow when you're listening to it, because the dialogue goes back and forth so quickly that you sometimes lose who is talking and responding to whom. It's when you read it in hardback or written word, it's a little easier to, because you see the breaks of who's talking to whom. But it's still a good listen. The reader does a good job. I would love for someone to go back and get the permission from Asimov's family or at the Asimov Trust or whatever it is out there, and say, okay, we want to do um, we want to do Foundation, but we want to do it following the book, because it did not follow the book at all, other than character names were the same, and the first 30-45 minutes of the show, of the first episode, followed it close enough, but then it was like Bugs Bunny on the way to Coachella. It took a left at Albuquerque. So let's take a look here. John says, watching any sci-fi themed anything that just makes me want to play Traveler RPG, which is why I have every last book Mongoose has crapped out. Traveler RPG is a good game, John. I will absolutely admit that. I can't name any movie that was better than the book. If I put my mind to it, there's one or two that expounded upon what the book was saying and did a better job of it. I can't remember off the top of my head anything right now. Probably Star Wars, because there was no book written. Well, there was a novelization after the movie was released, so there's that. Willy Wonka. Actually, yeah, I think the original Willy Wonka. Willy Wonka, the movie with Gene Wilder, is actually a better movie than the book. And if I'm not mistaken, and I may be way off base on this, but I think the author of the book even said as much, is that the movie captured what he was wanting people to envision better than he was able to get it envisioned. Hippie, yes, absolutely, yes, thank you. The entire Lord of the Rings trilogy, in my honest opinion, not just your honest opinion, but mine as well. The books are garbage. I will die on that hill. The books are garbage, absolute trash. The movies are amazing. They are epic in every single way possible. The books did not have to be however many freaking pages long they were. Yeah. It looks like Hippie is, I don't know if that yep is for the Lord of the Rings or agreeing with me about Willy Wonka. Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy movies suck at the very like. No, I liked the movie. Was it as good as the book? No, but I had fun with the movie. I think a lot of it had to do with Alan Rickman as Marvin the Martian and Sam Rockwell as F.I.B. Wilbrox. Both amazing performances. Mos Def did a great job as Ford Prefect. I think Bill Nighy did a great job of Slata Bartfast. I think the movie is great. Don't get me wrong. The first time I read Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy, I was 15, 16 years old. And I woke up my grandmother because I was laughing so hard. It was late at night. I was reading and I was laughing so hard. I woke up my grandmother. The movies did a far better job of expanding upon Tolkien's originality and reversed than the books. The books are not easy reads. No, the books are garbage. 100%. Peter Jackson will come beat you with a silver hammer. No. I'm saying Peter Jackson did a great job. Absolutely a great job. Yeah, Wonka. Okay. I so wanted an everlasting gobstopper. Very much so. I enjoyed the Hitchhiker's Guide movie. I never even heard of the books before, so the movie got me into those books. I love me some British humor. Absolutely, yeah. I even like the old BBC series from the late 80s, early 90s, I think it was. Really, for the time, I think it was pretty well done. And it was even more closely followed the book than the more recent movie, but that more recent movie is great. Just stopping in to say hi. Did you make it to where you were going to tonight to stop? Are you there now? Hope so. Be safe, buddy. We want you back in one piece. Books rocked and BB series was incredible. See, there you go. There you go. John Longshort. No, Peter Jackson was Tolkien's greatest fan. You know what? And you can be a great fan. And I know a lot of people out there that love the books and got them into fantasy and got them into role playing and got them into this hobby. But I started reading and I couldn't do it. It took me three times. Once in high school, once when I was in college, and then finally once the movies came out to get through the first book. And it was a chore. Fellowship through of the Ring, was a chore, was difficult. It felt like I'd been in a 15-round boxing match with Clubber Lang. Then the second book, Two Towers. I would rather have elective open heart surgery before I go through that again. And then I never finished Return of the King. I couldn't get that. I'd rather be hit in the back of the head with a 2x4 than go through reading those books again. He did make it outstanding. Good to hear that. Get some rest. I know you got another long day of driving ahead of you. Where's your destination for tomorrow? Someplace in Arizona or Las Vegas? Hopefully not too far. Hippie says Ribe. Oh, Robe. Warmut says, "Heyo, how you doing, Warmut? We're just yakking about science fiction. We started talking about Star Wars, and then we expanded out to all the other great and wonderful things that are science fiction. Probably the only book I have read 5 times. You know what? And when I say it's absolute garbage, that's my opinion. If you love the books, love them. I'm glad they're there for you. I'm glad Tolkien took the time to write them because they're important to you. Garbage. I think they are garbage. Just finished dinner, waiting on the in-laws to show up. Ugh. Well, you know. So, thinking of some other sci-fi that I really enjoy or fantasy. Oh, as far as fantasy goes, sword and sorcery type stuff. If you haven't looked into these, check out. There's a couple. This particular set of series, I really enjoy the world in. It's by David and Lee Eddings. And it's the first one is the Belgariad. It's a 5-book series. It's called the Belgariad. Then after that, you've got another 5-book called The Malorian. Then you've got 2 prequel books, one called Belgareth the Sorcerer and Poledra the Sorceress. Those 12 books, to me, just have an amazing world built around them. There's no orcs, there's no goblins. It's all human based, but that's okay. They're fun. They're fun books. If you've got Audible, you can pick them up. They are a credit a piece, so just like a regular book. They're about 8-9 hours to listen to. Really good. I enjoy them immensely. He's got some other books, some other series as well, but I really like those. Um, let's see here. Terry Brooks. I'll be honest, I have no idea who Terry Brooks is. Logan's Run. Yes, that's a good movie. THX 1138. Yeah, George Lucas's student film. I recommend the trilogy and prequel series, The Dragon Crown War Cycle. Who's that by, hippie? Let me know. H.G. Wells. Who did sci-fi before it? They thought of space. He imagined taking a balloon to the moon. Yeah, I like H.G. Wells. I like the Time Machine. Of course, you've got Jules Verne also. Written by Mike Stackpole. Okay, we'll have to take a look at that. Author of the X-Wing series, actually. Oh, very nice. Start with the prequel, The Dark Glory War. Sort of Shannara series. Is it Shannara or Shannara? I hear people pronounce it different ways. I would call it a Shannara, but that's just me. Yeah, so now not sci-fi in any way, shape, or form. Shaniqua, is she there? Yeah. Not a series of books. If you like murder mysteries, I would highly recommend the series by Rick Riordan, who wrote he wrote Percy Jackson and the Lightning Thief, Percy Jackson, Sea of Monsters, young adult, young adult books. But he also wrote adult, and no, they're not sexy novels. They're novels for adults. So get your minds out of the gutters, you pigs. Called the Trace Navarre murder series. The first title of the series is Big Red Tequila. And part of the reason, beside it being just really, really good murder mysteries, all of the books are written surrounding San Antonio and the South Central Texas area, to the point where my stepmom and my dad are the ones who introduced me to the books. And my stepmom would be reading the book and she would break out her map of San Antonio and be following along where the characters were on the map. So, yeah, it's pretty cool. But yeah, Rick Riordan, the first book in the series is Big Red Tequila. Really, if you like murder mysteries, really good.
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
Oh, shush. 90s music humor. Thanks. Let's see. Not that there's anything wrong with that. It would have to be 70s, 80s music humor. Bill and Ted Go to the Alamo thinking it was a Taco Bell. There you go. I love the old B&W black and white samurai movies. So Toichi, The Blind Samurai, highly recommended. And then Bunkhouse says, if you're giving author recommendations, I can't give enough praise to Lawrence Watt Evans. His writing style is fun and deep with lots of emphasis on world building. Now, see, we got to be careful when we start talking about emphasis on world building, because there's a world building the way David Eddings does it, where I can close my eyes right now and picture the different nations and the physical embodiment of where they are when they talk about the different places they are, without it being 12 pages of why the grass is green like you get with what's his nuts with Tolkien. So, I'm more of a give me a broad panoramic view of where we are, not this little 1 foot by 1 foot patch of ground and then this patch of ground. And yes, that's a bit of hyperbole, and yes, it's a bit of exaggeration, but not by much. I would check out his Obsidian Chronicles trilogy or Ethshar series, but he's got several good series. If you like cyberpunk, you need to read Neuromancer. Yep, definitely. And then Gibson basically launched this genre into mainstream. Absolutely. Of course, let's be honest. Blade Runner really, I mean, it's cyberpunk to an extent. It's not as punky as one might think, but it definitely opens the door to the genre nicely. Love history more of a steampunker. Yep, there's a lot of that too. Honestly, though, a lot of cyberpunk is very, very 80s, very 90s. To be perfectly honest, yeah. So, agreed. Yeah, it was loosely based on Electric Sheep, exactly. So, but yeah, I love science fiction. If you hadn't guessed, I love Star Wars. It is my top one. I enjoy Star Trek immensely. My favorite is, of course, the original series, followed closely by The Next Generation. I like DS9 a lot. Not quite a big a fan of Voyager, and for no other reason than I don't like the premise. Everybody says, "Oh, well, you don't like Janeway." I love Janeway. Janeway is an amazing character. The characters are great. The characters in Voyager are great. I love the characters. I don't like the premise. I really enjoy Enterprise, but I also like Scott Bakula. So there's a lot of that. Scott Bakula does quite a bit of carry there for me. So yeah, not a big fan of Discovery. Like I said, I'm not a big fan of the Next Generation movies. Once you get past Generations and First Contact, they all kind of. Let's see here. Johnny Mnemonic. Yep, yeah, that was a good one. That's the one with the smart dolphins. World building like his rules for magic and how things interact within the settings, consistent and believable. Okay, yeah, and that's the same thing with David Eddings. It's believable. You can put yourself into that world while you're reading it, and you are there. I like that. Oh, absolutely. I remember Max Headroom. Absolutely. John says, if you lived in the 70s, that what has changed in 50 years are computers and telecommunications. We have been in a total doldrums otherwise. Agreed. Yeah, what's interesting is we are now utilizing technology and actually have surpassed some of the technology to a greater or lesser extent that Star Trek brought up in the 60s and even farther back with Dick Tracy and in the 30s, his two-way radio watch. I got that right here. I I don't know if Donna is got her watch on. Nope, she doesn't have her watch on. Otherwise, I can tap my watch and I can talk to her, walkie-talkie style. I can make a phone call with it. Talk to anybody in the world that I've got the telephone number for. The flip phone. The communicator flip. Talk to anybody in the world on a flip phone. Same thing. The 3.5-inch floppy disk. It's even the same size as the little color cartridges that they had in Star Trek. The personal assistant data display or whatever the pad was called. I've got a tricorder. I can check my vital signs with this and this. It's amazing. It was a crime to turn your TV off. Yeah. Although it's nice not to fight Mrs. Whaley over the party line. Agreed. My aunt and uncle who lived on a farm in West Texas, northeast of Lubbock, had a party line phone up into the 80s. Very interesting. Well, you actually had to get up to turn the TV off. Yeah. Says, nope, I was my dad's remote back then. The point is, you had to get up. Your dad didn't, but you did. And beer fetcher, yes. I also know how to pour a nice glass of scotch. 2 ice cubes, 2 fingers. Boom, done. TV dials, click, 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 click. What's on NBC? Lol. Yeah, kids don't even know what UHF is these days. Yeah, but that's a computer telecommunications. We're still driving gremlins. Agreed. Yeah, I mean, where's my flying cars? The Jetsons promised us flying cars. Best part of Star Trek, Gene Roddenberry was a World War II hero, as was James Doohan. He lost a finger. He lost part of his finger during D-Day. Also a civilian hero, actually. If I'm not mistaken, he was a police officer for a bit of time. Had a party line in 1995, very rural Missouri. I can believe that. I wouldn't be surprised if the house that I'm living in right now, which was built back in the 50s, had a party line up until about 2000. Okay. Everybody say goodnight to Donna. She's going to bed.
Good night, guys.
Oh. So yeah, it's interesting. What we thought we would have in 2022 is not what we have in 2022. Hippie says good night. So does Warmott. All right, guys. So, yeah. I've always enjoyed science fiction. I think it's because I got the complete works of H.G. Wells in a leather-bound edition early in my teens. Yeah. Hey, get off the phone. Gramps has consumption. Well, the other thing was back in the early 90s, mid 90s, get off the phone. Don't pick up the phone. I'm downloading. I'm a flying car. Okay. Or your flying car. Whichever. So, kids. I complain about my slow internet. I'm still worlds faster than I was even 20 years ago. So, yeah. I love science fiction, and thanks for letting me just ramble about it tonight. I appreciate it. A good palate cleanser. Good palate cleanser. Not quite sure what we're going to talk about next week. Maybe we'll get some of the guys back on here with me. If not, we'll see. Anyway, guys, it is an hour and 35 minutes in. I think I am going to go ahead and wrap it up tonight. Like I said, I am a little tired. So, guys, take care of yourselves. And I'm hoping to have some more videos coming. I know I keep saying that, and it just, yeah, you know, if you aren't a subscriber to the channel, you should be. Clicky the button wherever it is. I think they're over here, I think. Clicky that, and then over here is clicky the thumb. And if you know people that, aren't watching that you think might like to watch, invite them along. Bring them over. Have them say hi. I don't bite much. I kid. Be well. You too, Hippie. Thanks for dropping in tonight. Hissy, good night. Good night to you too as well, sir. Chuck, be good, everyone. And they are here. Take it easy, y'all. So, guys, take care of yourselves. Be good to yourselves, and keep a lookout. I'm hoping to get more videos going. We'll see what happens. It's just so difficult sometimes. Monkhouse says good night, everyone. Again, folks, thanks so much for joining me this evening. I really appreciate it. And until next time, we'll see you on the flip side.